without a lawful basis.
Well, I have, because I suspected it was over that, because I had no evidence to say that it's
But you
not.
didn't have enough suspicion.
Yeah, but for me, it's me deciding that.
In this video, the auditor returns to Chadwell Heath, a location known for tense past encounters and mixed reputations. He arrives with no intention of confrontation, just to observe, document, and capture aerial footage of the massive police vehicle yard. But the moment the drone goes up, two officers approach and immediately attempt to order him to land it, claiming he is breaking drone regulations. What follows is a calm but firm breakdown of the law, as the auditor challenges their claim, asks for the specific legislation they believe he is violating, and highlights where reasonable suspicion must apply before issuing a lawful order. The officers struggle to justify their demand, eventually admitting gaps in their understanding of drone rules and identification areas. What begins tense slowly shifts into a civil conversation about rights, accountability, body cam use, and improving police public interactions, leaving the audience to decide who had the stronger position. I'm filming to hold authorities accountable. If you believe in public rights and freedom, subscribe now. We're building a community of accountability.
Okay, so why are you saying I'm wrong?
Because you're wrong.
Okay, why are you saying
It's not my job to educate you. You should know the legislation. If you're going to give me a lawful order to land my drone, you should know the legislation. You have this drone, you should know the legislation.
Yeah.
And you clearly don't. Yes, you are. That's for larger drones.
No, it's for any drone.
It's for drones over 250 grams. It's not fun because you're interrupting my freedom by giving me what you're calling a lawful order, and it's unlawful.
Did I know what size that was before you landed it, yes or no?
It doesn't matter unless you have reasonable suspicion that it's over 250 grams.
Okay, well, I did, didn't I?
No.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have told you to do it.
Well, I'm sorry, but you said you know it's under 250 grams because you've got the same drone.
It was above your head.
Right. At which point you could have said, all right, don't worry, keep it up there then. You could have rescinded your alleged lawful order. What reasonable suspicion did you have that it was over 250 grams?
It's flying in the air. Why would I not suspect you? You're flying it over a police station.
Yeah.
You've got to appreciate that's going to raise some sort of suspicion.
But why would you reasonably suspect that it's over 250 grams? Why is that your first law? You have to be reasonable suspicion to give me that lawful order of an offence.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the reasonable part of this suspicion, other than I felt like telling you to bring it down because I wanted to talk to you? That's not reasonable suspicion.
Okay, but I also have no reasonable suspicion to say that it is 200.
Well, I mean, you stood here. I was stood here when you approached. You can see the case that says DJI Mini. If you actually don't use some observation skills, you would know.
So,
But unfortunately, you just want to go gung-ho.
I only told you to land the drone.
Yeah, which is interrupting my freedom right now.
Okay.
You're interrupting my time. You're wasting my time.
I'm not wasting it.
You are. You're burning daylight. I've got a job to do. I'm going to charge you this. I'm going to send it. Yeah, I'm going to send it in. Yeah.
For what, sorry?
For the time you're wasting.
I'm not wasting your time.
You absolutely are.
I'm definitely not. I'm not saying that I'm not.
Unless you can tell
I've
me
already told you you can't fly within 50 metres of
that
people.
you're wrong.
Okay, so you're telling me you're wrong. Well, you tell me why I'm wrong then.
I've just told you because it's under 250 grams, you're allowed to fly it.
That applies
Are you on the
to all
CAA page?
Yes.
Right, go down to the small drone section.
I am on the small drone section. It says, do not fly closer than to people.
Is that under the small drone section? Let me have a look. Let's have a look. Small drones. If you're flying a drone, model class C0, you can fly closer to people than 50 metres and you can fly over them. Did you miss that part, did you, Constable? Or you just want to lie to me?
I'm not lying to you.
Well, you are, because you just said you read it and you just said that I can't fly.
It's on the floor, and I know that it's that way, then we've got no issue, have we?
Well, there is, because you needed reasonable suspicion to give me that lawful order.
I did.
No, you didn't.
As
I said, if you actually used some investigation skills, some observation, and saw the case that says DJI Mini, right, you would be able to ascertain that it's a small drone. You're interrupting my freedom and obstructing my human rights. Article 10, freedom of expression, you're interrupting.
I'm not interrupting.
You are, because you've just given me what you're alleging is a lawful order, and you're interrupting my time.
You're actually regulated airspace as well.
It's not actually.
Actually, our police station comes under London City Airport regulated airspace.
Where's that?
I think you're fine. So feel free to look yourself. But up until the junction of Primrose Avenue, this actually comes under City of London controlled zone airspace, which means that it's in effect from the surface and 2,500 feet.
That's not what my app said.
Well, unfortunately, maybe you should do
Where's
some
it
more
gone?
research, because my app
Where's my app gone?
is done on. Look, at the end of the day, I don't want to have. I'm not here to have an argument. At the end of the day, I was quite particularly. I was coming here to go home anyway. But I didn't see the case on the floor. At the end of the day, someone's flying a drone over a police station. You're going to appreciate that someone might be suspicious of that. Okay.
So you see on my app, it's not coming up with any flight restriction
Okay,
zone.
what app is
Okay.
that?
It's the DJI app.
Okay.
Alright, so it's the app that comes with the software with this. The nearest one is this yellow, which is a warning zone. But on this app, it's saying that I'm not in the flight restriction zone.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, look,
What app is that?
that is.
The Altitude Angel?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then the apps are different. Like,
Yeah, fair enough. They are. But I look at what I'm looking at. I'm not here to say that I'm taking your freedom away. Yes, I didn't see the box, but as it come down, I've seen it's the same one I've got. Okay?
right? So at that point, why did you not rescind your lawful order to land it?
Because
But you could have said, right, you can keep it up in the air now.
But it was already landing. You've obviously avoided the lady that was with the car.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't fly now, but now we've sorted it out and we've talked. Like you said, you didn't want to talk to me while you're flying a drone. Because that's responsible. Now it's landed. There's no issue, is there?
Well, there was, because like you've interrupted my time and my footage.
Did I know it was that weight before it come down?
No, but you have to have reasonable suspicion of a crime before you give a lawful order to land a drone. You have to have the reasonable suspicion. You didn't have any reasonable suspicion. You may have thought, oh, it might be over 250, it might be under, but you have to have reasonable suspicion, articulable suspicion that it is over 250. Not that it might be, that it is. You have to have reasonable suspicion. You didn't have that, so your order at that time was unlawful. According to your app, and I won't take it back up.
Yeah.
But at that time when you gave me that lawful order, you didn't know that. You didn't know that it was or wasn't.
No, but I didn't say it was, did I?
No, but again, you shouldn't say you're giving a lawful order if it's not a lawful order.
Well, it was a lawful order because...
It wasn't a lawful order. We're going to run around in circles with this.
But I didn't know that was under it. Because I suspect that it was.
What made you suspect that it was? That's what I want to know.
Because
so
I
it has
have
to be
no
reasonable.
evidence to suggest that it's not over 250.
That's not reasonable suspicion.
But that is for me to decide.
No, that suspicion is not reasonable suspicion because you have that objectionable ground to suspect that it is. If you had come and seen my case and it just said DJI and it didn't, listen, let me finish.
Yeah,
if you just came and saw my case and it said DJI and it didn't say DJI Mini, then yes, you could probably use that because it doesn't say Mini. You might think, oh, actually, maybe that's over the weight.
True.
But that would be reasonable suspicion because you would have a fact, some evidence to go on for you to give a lawful order because you would suspect I'm committing an offence by flying a drone over 250, right? But you had no grounds other than the fact that I'm flying a drone.
Yeah.
But somebody flying a drone is not enough grounds to give a lawful order because it might be, it might not be the right way. That's not enough grounds just because I'm flying it. Okay, that's not enough grounds.
I'm charging you with an offence.
No, but you still interrupted my time, haven't you? Am I right? You've interrupted my freedom of expression.
Yeah, I appreciate
and you've
that.
infringed on my right to do that for without a lawful basis.
Well, I have, because I suspected it was over that, because I had no evidence to say that it's
But you
not.
didn't have enough suspicion.
Yeah, but for me, it's me deciding that. That's not for you to decide. If we was going to court and I'm saying I'm arresting you and charging you with an offence, then we might have an argument. But to me, I see someone flying a drone, I can't prove what way it is, so I'm not automatically going to go, oh yeah, that must be under 250 grams.
But then you could have waited for me to land it, you could have waited and then...
Yeah, but you said you wasn't going to until I gave you a lawful order.
Yeah, and well, eventually my battery's going to run out or I'm going to finish getting the footage that I was getting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you could have waited until that without using a false lawful order and then conducted your investigation. It was because you didn't have enough suspicion.
Anyway, because like you said, we're going to go around in circles. We've had this little bit about what airspace we're in. I'm going to go with what I've got. Okay, fair enough.
Even under that offence, I know the offence, the court would have to prove that I reasonably knew that I was flying in restricted airspace, but because my app clearly
I'm not saying
shows...
I'm going to start taking you to court for
No, but again, like it wouldn't hold up anyway because I reasonably didn't believe I was, so like they would get thrown out anyway. It would be pointless.
I mean this in a really nice way. Have you considered joining it?
Absolutely not. No. Well, I don't want to join the most corrupt organisation in the UK.
You like your legislation, you're a very intelligent person, and the way you communicate it is is respectful and it's quite friendly.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
I
Like, I'm
appreciate
not here to be
really
aggressive
do.
with you,
No,
but I
no,
don't
no,
like
no,
having my
genuinely.
rights infringed
No,
upon,
genuinely,
and
tell
I
me-
will do it
You don't have to
politely.
tell me what you do, obviously.
Yeah.
Tell me you do something with a legal background.
No, I do psychology actually.
Psychology?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually doing a PhD in it at the moment.
Oh, man,
So,
good man.
but yeah, no, law is just a side interest,
Yeah.
and I am quite well versed on.
Yeah.
Not every law, like you're not going to be
Listen,
every
you-
law,
you
but
appreciate-
laws that I need to know.
You appreciate we have various people who pay interest to police stations. Obviously, as my colleagues already said, it's always going to attract a certain amount of suspicion.
Okay.
There's always that side of it.
And I've
It's
got
something
no
that
problem
you're
with you guys
aware
coming and interacting.
of.
None
No,
at all.
and I appreciate that. I'll ask you anyway, is there any particular reason that you fly over police station or this police
Because
station?
aerial footage is really cool.
Right,
It looks really good.
Yeah,
You know that. You fly a drone.
Yeah,
it
no,
looks
I
really good.
appreciate what you're saying.
But,
Because I used to have
people
one
walk
before the
past.
legislation got changed and they started cracking down.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one I had was too big and I didn't want to go through the rigmarole of registering.
Yeah, yeah. So you get a smaller one.
So I do see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
obviously it is a sensitive side.
Right. And I've got
it's
okay.
gonna generate
I've got
that.
no problem with you coming and asking. What I have a problem with is when, again, I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on whether that was a lawful order,
Yeah,
because
fair
I
enough,
do
fair
not
enough,
believe
yeah.
it was.
And
And
understandably, you would feel that.
Yeah.
Because, and the same reason.
yeah,
because
I can't
it's
promise that
gonna-
I'm not going to put in a civil claim for it, and I'll see what my solicitors say about it, whether or not they agree that it was an infringement of my rights, because I genuinely don't believe that was a lawful order. And I don't think there was enough suspicion. Also, it's not you that's going to be personally done; it will be the MPS. The MPFS will fork out for it. It won't be you guys personally, which I think is wrong. I think you guys, because obviously you're not employees, you're each accountable for your own actions under your powers. So I think you should all be accountable personally when you misuse them as well. I don't think the MPS, as a body, should be paying out for these civil suits. I think it should be you personally liable because you're the one that's responsible for your powers.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough argument to have. I appreciate. I can see both sides of it.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I think personally, in some situations, 100%, you need to be personally accountable, particularly when it comes to things like use of force and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That criminal side.
But infringement of human rights as well is a big one as well.
Yeah, no, I
And I do believe this to be an infringement of Article 10 for me at the moment,
Yeah.
because I don't believe that lawful order, which is infringed on my right to freedom of
But
expression.
as I say, look, we've moved on from that.
Yeah.
Right, my colleagues already explained about the airspace and stuff like that. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I need to brush up on my legislation
Yeah.
clearly with the Civil
Yeah, yeah.
Aviation Act. I know the
Yeah,
basics
yeah.
of what the drone code says and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But with regards
Okay.
to the legislation that backs it up.
Yeah,
And, if
and that's good. Like if you're ever approaching somebody with a drone and you're not sure, do what he did and look it up on the phone. But do that before you start giving out orders that I can't be within 50 meters, because as we've seen, you were wrong on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you admit that you're wrong?
Yeah, but
at
with
the
this
time,
particular
we
drone.
didn't know
Yeah,
that it
yeah, no, but I said it. I told you it was under 250 gram when we stood over there,
Yeah.
and you said you still can't be within 50 meters.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and so when we looked it up,
Playing devil's advocate.
yeah, okay,
Of course I do.
okay, and
Yeah.
absolutely. So all I want to ask is next time
Yeah.
when you're approaching, whether it's a drone, whether it's anything, don't go telling people what is and isn't if you're not sure. Like I said to you, get it up on your phone, and while you were looking it up, you were still saying it is. It is. You're in a position where what you're saying to somebody in your uniform can have a great effect on what they do in their actions, and can potentially persuade or dissuade them from doing a lawful activity. Okay, you need to be careful within the facts that you're telling people. You don't want to be done for lying, because you're not allowed to lie on your job to somebody that you're investigating. It goes against the PLM principles and goes against your codes of conduct. That's not okay. You need to be sure in what you're saying. And there's nothing wrong. We don't expect you to have encyclopedic knowledge. We expect you, when you're not sure, to take a step away, call the right person and double check, look it up, whatever you need to do. But, telling me I can't fly within 50 meters when I know I can.
Yeah.
All right, the airspace, that's a bit iffy there, and I'll admit to that.
Yeah, that's
okay.
fair. Yeah.
But with the, with the 50
playing devil's
meters.
advocate very quickly. Because
Yeah.
you said about the whole. I said it wasn't. I said it was under 250 grams.
Yeah.
Completely accept what you're saying. I've had people that I've stopped with white powder on them in little bags. And the first thing out of their mouth is, it's not cocaine. You see what I'm saying?
True.
Taking that word for it initially.
Yeah.
Hence why what my colleague's saying about the reasonable grounds. I know we've had that discussion. We don't need to revisit
Yeah.
that.
But
I
then-
think this is very much going to be.
But then, like at that point, I think you're acting on past experience of other people and not taking the public at face value and automatically having a suspicion before you've even
Like you
investigated.
say, you've got to build those grounds, haven't you? You can't just walk into something. You have to be objective. You have to look at everything available to
Absolutely.
you. You have to make decisions based on that. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. Hence why we have things like decision-making models and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, but, as my colleague said, at the point he gives that lawful order,
Yeah.
it's a lawful order because he has that reasonable grounds to suspect.
Yeah, but again, that's what we're going to disagree.
And
So
this is where we disagree.
yeah, it
So
wasn't reasonable
really,
enough.
I understand what you're saying. If you want to go and seek advice and stuff like that, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I'll speak to 810K, 100%. Because at the end of the day, like, we're on a mission to
I'll ask
deal
the question.
with.
I know the answer. Do you want to provide any details to us?
You know the answer.
I know the answer.
You know the answer.
I have to ask the question.
Did they make you ask it?
No, it's something that I will probably be not criticised, but a question will be asked why I didn't ask. Because obviously, like I say, any police building is a sensitive site. I'm guessing this isn't your first rodeo. You understand how it works. You understand it's going to generate a lot of interest. It's something that we're always going to ask. So I'll ask the question. You'll decline.
Yeah.
We've both played this game before. That's absolutely fine.
No worries.
All right.
But
I apologise for any confusion.
all right, I appreciate you. I appreciate that it's calmed down a lot and we've come to this. But I'm quite an amenable person. I just the way I'm approached will dictate what the response you get from me as well.
I don't come to work to have grief.
No.
I just come to work to do a job and go home. I appreciate it's a bit of a strange job. It's not the job that everyone does.
Yeah. Same with what I do.
Consider it.
Yeah. No.
I apologise for
Never.
any discrepancies about the weight. Yes, I know I've got one myself. Yes, I didn't see the box, but obviously I was talking to yourself rather than the box.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
then, but then, like while I was flying the drone, like while I'm taking it up and trying to get it back here, and we're stood back over here, and the box was there, you're taking 2 seconds to look. You know what I mean? Like you need to be more observant of the surroundings.
And you know what? I'll take that forward.
Yeah.
I know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. What's the call number? T2386. Appreciate it.
Like I said about the app, obviously double check because to save you getting in any bother that it is in airspace, then it's two different options, isn't it? Your one says yes, your one says it's fine, my one says it's not.
Yeah.
Unless we go to the Civil Aviation Authority and say,
I
want the actual map.
Or City Airport.
Well, I'll contact DJI and say you need to update your app and make it better. You know. Yeah.
Because to be fair,
it is.
That's the one I got. From getting that.
What the Altitude Angel?
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
This one literally just comes with the software on the DJI app, but apparently.
No, that's fair enough.
But,
any other questions?
Before you could have an amenable out.
Just before you go, your call number, I've got his. So 1745. And just one more thing before we go. Is there any reason that neither of you told me that you turned on your body cameras throughout any of this conversation?
I appreciate that. I was going to tell you as I left.
Okay.
No, I didn't tell you at the time.
Okay.
I've just turned it on as we got out.
Yeah.
But obviously, you have been recorded on video.
Okay.
I didn't get it out at the time because obviously maybe I should have done, but we've obviously been dealing with you. Yes, I should have told you at the beginning.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate after the fact it's a bit difficult to say. I was going to tell you as
I do normally wait until you're walking away and then call you back, but I realised you parked in the road, so once you start walking away I just want to leave you to crack on.
No, that's fair enough.
But so yes. I'll take your word that you were going to tell me.
I appreciate that's very difficult, but
but try to, because obviously if you're recording somebody and they don't know they're being recorded, they might be more likely to say something that's incriminating and that without knowing that they're being recorded, because what you say is hearsay, but what you've got on camera is evidence, so people need to know what they're saying.
We do tell someone.
Absolutely.
The amount of times you do it, it becomes such a muscle memory to do it. Sometimes you're too busy focusing on something else and it does slip your mind. I appreciate it. I do that quite a lot.
I am the first